Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. And yeah, I mean, for me, I gotta tell you, I don't really have many opinions on this week, more or less. I just know that the two really big storylines, seemingly on Raw and SmackDown. I mean, not counting the world titles, because we know Cody and AJ will now be an I Quit match at Clash. Um, so I feel like it's been a while since we've seen that step. Just hate that Cody's the champion, obviously. But the two big stories outside of the titles are obviously Solo's bloodline and, where's Roman Reigns? And Liv Morgan continuing to screw with Rhea Ripley, even while Rhea is still recovering from injury. So, focusing on the bloodline first, I mean, again, Paul Heyman has never felt more unsafe, and I, because of that, have never really felt happier as far as everything going on in this orbit. Um, they pretty much declare, they make it official in the opening segment. This is kind of Solo's bloodline right now. That Tama Tonga is the right hand man. Tonga Loa also gets built up. I like the suits, which you know what though, I will say they pull off the aesthetic of like this professional carrying ourselves the way Roman carried himself thing, but the way they take care of business and the way Paul Heyman's described them, as like thugs. I don't know if I like the contrast or if I would, maybe like something a bit different. But you know what? I think it kind of works. Again, it has more of like a mob type feel that I've wanted from the family in NXT, which kudos to them. I think they've gotten that more in recent weeks, as we've said. But yeah, I mean, I'm still vibing with this. It really is just the big question: how is Roman going to return? And I think you and I already had an extensive conversation about this last week. So I don't really know what new things can really be said here. I did just want to point out that I did enjoy this opening segment, and I want to hand it over to you quickly if you had anything that you wanted to add about the
Uh,
bloodline, that is. Because again, I feel like
yeah,
we already said so much last week, so I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just giving it to you. If you have anything to say, great. If not, we can just move right on.
it's strange because I always was kind of under the impression that this weird insistence on giving everyone nicknames was a Vince thing, and yet here we are, Triple
Yeah.
H, the the infamous Tonga Loa and the right hand man Tama Tonga, and now we're just gonna have to hear that every time they get ring announced, and I don't really understand it. I don't really understand the appeal. I guess that it's like a branding thing, but it feels just completely unnatural, completely manufactured, completely artificial, and it's not something I'm ever going to be able to get behind. So that's my main takeaway is that they've just taken the bloodline, which is a story that's been going on for damn near 4 years now, unironically, and that had a hell of a lot of momentum for the vast majority of that time. And I just feel like it has slowed to an absolute halt in the last 2 months. And you could say that it's Roman leaving that's done it, but they could have found ways to keep it interesting without Roman being around constantly. I mean, hell, there were times that Roman was missing for a month or two at a time over the course of the last 4 years before this, and they found ways to keep it interesting. Paul Heyman can carry this kind of thing, but the over reliance on Solo and now the weird decisions that they're making with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, I just don't get it. I'm just not into it. I'm not feeling it. I am currently in a position with this storyline where until Roman does show up, I'm checked out of it.
You know what? That makes perfect sense to me. Really, just going through SmackDown tonight, it just really seems like we could skip a lot because the things that are happening are really just with people that we don't care about. Like, I don't care
Did
about
you
Cody.
did you not watch SmackDown then?
I really didn't, and you know what? Honestly, looking it over, I'm glad I didn't, because the only things I would
Yeah.
have regretted missing are like Bailey stuff with Piper and Chelsea, because I love the Chel Pip train, as Chelsea once called it.
I will
Choo
say, yeah,
choo.
you picked an excellent week to not bother with SmackDown because the show was mid this week. I know Gala even asked, at like I think like 9:15 last night. How's SmackDown? And I told her it was mid then, and nothing in the last 45 minutes changed my view on it. Um, it was just not a good show. It wasn't a horrible show. It's not like it was like offensively disgusting or anything. It was
No.
just mid. I think honestly, you mentioned it already. I would say the highlight of the show for me at least was the Bailey Piper promo interaction with Chelsea kind of playing backup duty. Yeah, I enjoyed that more than pretty much anything else on this show. It was just not an entertaining show to me.
Yeah, I think we could just because I don't even want to get into the trap of like starting to talk about some of the mess stuff. I really just want to be committed to talking about stuff that's interesting. So just real quick, I guess to talk about Bailey and Piper, which again I did not see this, but I am happy to see that these two are mixing it up with Bailey. I've always been kind of meh on Piper. I don't dislike her by any means. I think she's solid enough in the ring, but I will say that what's endeared me to her are those small moments where she kind of indulges Chelsea. Like when
Yeah,
I shared that segment that I love, where Chelsea goes choo choo because it pops me every fucking time. Um,
I'll
but
even
preceding,
say Chelsea opened this being the primary mic'd, talker, um, and Bailey basically refused to indulge Chelsea, and she started speaking straight to Piper and telling her how much she respects her and stuff. And Piper took the mic and started speaking for herself and cut a really solid promo. Like if you are going to go back and watch anything from SmackDown, this is the one thing that I can recommend. I would say go back and watch it. But I have to add in the caveat that as much as I thought this was good television, I don't agree with the match that they're building to here.
what match would you have preferred? Just Chelsea versus Bailey, or just two a different
Well,
contender
you know what?
altogether?
That would have been fucking perfect because that would have given London the opportunity to cheer Bailey, or not London, Scotland, even more specifically and importantly, it would have given Scotland the opportunity to unabashedly root for Bailey. And they could have done something else with Piper. I even mentioned in the Discord they should have turned Piper face a month ago and started building up towards a match where she challenges Nia for her crown in a Clash of the Castle, because
Yeah,
I fully am behind the concept of using your Scottish superstars on a show that you do in Scotland that's a pay per view, because you don't do that like ever. Like this is the first Scotland pay per view in Scotland in how long now? I maybe ever, I don't know. Genuinely, I have no clue. But like it's a obviously a very rare occasion, so yeah, you definitely want to take advantage of the fact that you have some actual Scottish superstars on your roster and you want to give them the opportunity to perform in front of their home country, but you want to give them the opportunity to do that in a situation where they can be cheered. And you're pitting the Scottish Piper Niven against one of the most beloved characters on your roster, specifically in the UK, in Bailey.
yeah,
I hate it.
yeah,
I
definitely.
hate it because Piper is going into this not even necessarily playing a full blown heel character. She's going into this being like the tough guy, like, oh, you're going to regret, accepting this match. I'm going to tear your head off. I'm going to take the title off of you. She's playing it more straight. Like, she's not playing it like a heel. She's not, you know, saying anything. Like she's not taking any like low blows at Bailey. She's not doing anything that you would be like, wow, I can't believe she said that, or like, oh my God, she's so awful. She's just cutting an honest to God promo on Bailey. And like Bailey is supposed to be the babyface here, and she will be because the UK tends to love her. But like, I don't even know how Scotland is going to react here because it's their fucking home country girl. Like, it's Piper Niven. She's Scottish. She talks like them for fuck's sakes. So like, I just do not understand why they would do this. And who's the Raw Women's Champion again right now? Liv? Shit.
Yeah,
They could have made a one-time exception and sent Piper after Liv so that you could at least have a. And again, though, the whole point here that I have a problem with is that they didn't turn Piper face first. That they are going
yeah,
to have heel Piper going up against, in this instance, a face champion. It would have made more sense if they would have turned her face by having her go after Liv, because then you could have at least had like, yeah, like that instance of like, oh well, she's going after a heel champion and that makes her a face. And even if it would have been temporary for the Scotland pay per view, it would have made more sense to me. I just hate that they're sending heel Piper against face Bailey when the heel in this situation is going to be the one getting cheered the most, probably. it just irks me a lot.
I want to acknowledge everything you said, but I want to give my own remarks now, but in a bit of a different direction. Because for me, and again, I think everything you said was valid. So if I'm just not addressing it, just know that that was my caveat to start. For me, it's just I love Bailey. I think she is definitely a future Hall of Famer, all the usual platitudes, right? But this face turn for me, and maybe it's because I've been disconnected, it really hasn't resonated with me the way that I desperately hope that it would after she's been healed for so long. Because, like, I really do believe that Bailey as a person is
Well, and
probably
that's
a
another thing too, right? Is
yeah.
I
Go
I
ahead.
fully agree with you. I feel like there's been a problem of them not giving Bailey anything that she can really sink her teeth into and not really pitting her up against any really good established heel characters since she won the title. And even in the build up to Mania, they didn't really do anything to make her look like a really standout babyface character. And we talked about that in the build up to Mania too. They have undercut Bailey and cut her knees out from under her every single step of the way since the initial promo where she left Damage Control. Every step of the way since then, I feel like she's been getting her knees cut out from under her.
And first of all, I would agree. And then just to continue my train of thought, I think for me, this makes EO This makes Io look really good to me, honestly, because I feel like Io was such a great heater that they woefully undercapitalized on. But now I feel like they're already doing better by Io as a heater in this program she's got with Lyra on Raw. Like that, I feel like has legs. I'm very much interested in the Lyra EO rematch that's probably going to take place. But I feel like because EO is such a great catalyst for Bailey, again, that was woefully undertapped and underutilized by WWE, uh, that face turn didn't really get the momentum that it should have. And another thing, just to kind of again give my broad thoughts, because I said I was going to go completely in a different direction that you were, because you were really focusing on the venue and Piper's promo and the Piper show turn face. And again, I can agree with all that. For me, this makes me hate even more though that like Nia won Queen of the Ring. And like because Naya is a good heater, maybe for the wrong reasons. I do think she's been a bit better this run, but I don't want to like overextend that credit. But honestly, bro, the more I think about it, and I see, I don't want to put Jade out to dry either because I really do like Jade. But I really wish that Bianca would have won Queen of the Ring and we would have gotten Bailey Bianca at SummerSlam because that to me is the money match there. And that to me could have given some necessary contours to Bailey's babyface run because Bianca has a legitimate axe to grind, and that would have given her nuance as well as a character. But I feel like her having these tag titles, and I get it because Bianca's already done everything. I don't want to be one of those fans that are like, why aren't you pushing Bianca? She's literally like, she's good. She was the number one draft pick in the draft this year, right? Like, she's always going to be good in my mind. But it's less about giving Bianca any depth or nuance, which she's doing right now, and it's more about getting Jade over and elevating Jade, which I get. But I almost feel like we've just kind of dropped Bianca's issues with Bailey. And so Bailey, I say all of this to say that the next couple of months for Bailey really don't seem that compelling to me. And it's a shame because I love Bailey. I want to love Bailey even more. I want to be engaged with their stuff. And I just feel completely disconnected. And if Tiffany Stratton wins Money in the Bank and goes after Bailey, that's not going to help matters because I don't give a fuck about Tiffany. So I'm just in a really weird place where honestly, because of the draft, Raw might have actually gotten my attention back in terms of the women. Although I will say too on that front, not really caring too much for this Liv Dom thing, and we'll get to that though in a few moments because again, I don't think we're going to be on SmackDown much longer given how mad the show was. But yeah, man, this fucking Bailey face run needs some momentum to it, and we didn't even get a proper Bailey EO rematch, which I know I think that rubbed Mark the wrong way, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And now we've got a Queen of the Ring in Nia, where that matchup I don't care about because we saw their matches in NXT and they weren't atrocious, but I don't see how you can do better than that. Whereas with Bianca and Bailey, even though they too have had matches before, several in fact, I feel like given the emotional stakes, they could still do something different and something like, oh man, this was great because Bailey is supposed to be definitively babyface now. So yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's really a shame. I feel like the Raw Women's division, if they just work some things out, could really be on the up and up. And SmackDown, and it's not even Bailey's fault, but it just feels like it's in a kind of stasis that I really don't like.
I think
And
another
yeah,
way, actually, that Bailey's knees have been cut out from underneath her since the leaving of Damage Control is through the draft.
Yeah.
because if you just look at how the draft played out, SmackDown's women's division is rough. It is
Yes.
like,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Bianca and Jade are baby faces and they're doing their own thing. Let me list off the heels in SmackDown's women division right now, who actively wrestle. So the reason I put in that qualifier is because BFAB is technically a heel, but like she doesn't fucking wrestle. So like, why would I include her? So there's Blair Davenport, who's brand new, and they're not going to give her a world title shot right off the bat. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, who either one of them could be a decent challenger for Bailey's title, but also like they are clearly prioritizing them as a tag team. Chelsea and Piper, which we're clearly seeing right now, Piper being a challenger, right?
Yeah.
Electra Lopez, who I don't think has even wrestled since coming on to SmackDown,
Yeah. Really.
and Nia.
I just want
Oh,
to clarify
I'm
because I
sorry,
was
Tiffany is the last one. Nia and Tiffany are the last two.
I just want to clarify something because you might have said it, but I admit that I did space out for a second because I was typing a reply to Foster in the chat. Did you say Blair Davenport?
She was the first, yeah, the first one
Okay.
that I named.
Yeah.
And I
Because yeah,
mentioned that like she's brand new and they're not going to shove her in the world title picture immediately.
yeah, and that's kind of the shame, right? Because like I like Blair in the ring, but they need to give her time, and they are, to their credit, they are. But like, you got the major pay-per-views coming up. I don't even know where Blair would fit, and by the time she would fit, I don't even think Bailey's going to be champion anymore. Like they
No,
really hoed Bailey on this, man. They
yeah,
really
they
did.
really did. It really feels to me like they are building this up. Not when okay, I need to rephrase that because that didn't make sense.
Okay.
It really feels to me like Bailey is a transitional champion. It really feels to me like they are just giving Bailey filler title defenses so that whichever one that they want to be the next champion between Tiffany and Nia can take that title from her and then go on the real run. Like that's the real run. And I say that because I think that Nia already has the SummerSlam shot. We know that. But Tiffany could
Yes.
also have Money in the Bank. So it's like a coin flip at that point as to which one of them gets the longer run because they could have Tiffany cash in on Bailey immediately and then have to face Nia at SummerSlam, and they could just put it on Nia and say, okay, well, we got the trial run with Tiffany out of the way. We'll have her win the title at Mania now. Or they could have Nia win at, and I think this is more likely actually. They could have Nia win at SummerSlam, then Tiffany cashes in on her, and it's this big betrayal because literally on SmackDown last night, and this is something that you did miss, Tiffany literally approached Nia and told her that she had her back.
Okay, so trying to cozy up to her. I see.
Yes. So I think there's a very good chance that that leads to Tiffany betraying Nia vis-a-vis cashing in on her after she wins the title right away.
See, that's interesting because before you said that, I still have it in my mind. I haven't given up, by the way, on the idea of Naya being a part of Solo's bloodline. I mean, they're all on the same show, and if Solo really is taking orders from The Rock, isn't Naya like The Rock's cousin? Right? We've established that relation.
She's got some
So
kind of distant relation. Yeah, there's something
yeah,
there.
yeah. So I especially if she wins the championship. Plus, I got to give credit, at least writing wise, it would make Solo's bloodline distinctive because Roman never had any women in it, even when there was that period where I wanted Naomi to be a part of it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still not unconvinced, like that isn't just happening. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I feel really bad for Bailey because I feel like she had so much to give and that just she hasn't really been able to give it. But yeah, other than that, I will say as far as KO teaming with the Street Profits, the only other interesting wrinkle that I can think of that I would want answers about is how does Bobby Lashley feel about all this?
Yeah.
It's like these are my boys. We're kind of the pride, and you know, uh,
Dude, I'm almost starting to wonder if the WWE internally has just like disbanded the Pride and kind of moving on from them.
God, they keep doing this to Lashley's groups,
It's
man.
like, yeah,
Christ.
it's like the draft. It's like they kept them together until the draft so that they could draft all three guys, or really all three guys plus BFAB onto the same brand with one draft pick. But then like going forward afterwards, it's like, all right, we got that out of the way. you all don't have to do the same thing anymore. It's fine.
Oh, well, Foster did bring up if Lashley's not injured, and to be honest, he might be because it's funny that we just have not
Oh,
seen him on
yeah,
TV,
I didn't
so
know.
that does make sense actually.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it could just
because
I don't know,
I
man.
like Dawkins and Ford, and I think it's really cool that they're like the only ones that are actually bothering to come out and help. But like, it feels like they're kind of directionless too.
Yeah, well, and we've been talking about that too, man. Like, I don't know. But anyway, to put a pin in SmackDown, because I feel like we got a decent enough pace going,
Yeah,
let's talk about Raw. Okay, so I just need to reiterate again, because we kind of talked about this last week, and I want to make this quick. I really hope that they handle this Liv Dom kind of storyline with the delicateness it deserves. Now, to get ahead of it, because I already feel like he might be wanting to say it in chat, I do agree with Javaris that this does kind of put Dom in a weird position because that kiss that Liv gave him last week did not seem consensual, and
no,
his body language seemed to be like, what the hell? But I'm just gonna say straight away, I acknowledge that, Javaris. I understand that, but WWE would not have the nuance to do that fucking story, and you and I both know it. So that's just my quick acknowledgement of that. The story that I think they might actually be telling is either Dom is a piece of shit, which is perfectly in line with his character. I acknowledge that, but I still low key kind of hate it only because of the show of solidarity that the Judgment Day showed Rhea before she left. Or they all stand their ground and they go on maybe a kind of babyface run, but that doesn't make sense either because I feel like Finn and just like, JD McDonald, Google me, whatever the fuck, are just really looking at Priest like, all you care about is the world title. You're taking your eye off the group. So I just feel like Judgment Day is just heading towards dissolution regardless. And I just gotta wonder what poison is preferable to me. And I guess it would just be Dom being a piece of shit just because again he's already getting the fucking heat. Um, but yeah, she's kind of playing these quote unquote games with him. And she said, "Oh, like, oh, I meant it when I said I want to take everything away from Rhea." And and to start her promo, she bragged about all of her accolades again. I'm just really not vibing with heel Liv for me. I don't know. I like Liv a lot more as a babyface. Just felt more genuine that way. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Balor wanted Liv to kind of back off of Dom, and she kind of does while still kind of flirting with him. Ruffles the hair, blows a kiss, all that shit.
dude, I
Um,
think it's hilarious. This specific trait of Liv, of her being this like overt flirtatious piece of shit where she's like telling Dom to his face, I don't actually want you. I just want what Rhea has, and you're part of that. And so you're going to be an object that I try and steal away from Rhea now. And Dom, not even like constant, like, it's just funny because like clearly last week he wasn't into it at all, and then this week he started out being not into it, but then like there was that point that he clearly cracked a smile, and commentary kept pointing it out all night.
Yeah, McAfee, according to the recap I'm reading, McAfee even said, like, Dom has to figure out whether she's being genuine or just using him. She's using you,
Dude,
okay?
there's no figuring anything out. She told him to his face that she
Yeah.
wants to take everything from Rhea, including him. She's literally objectifying him on national television and telling it to his face. There's nothing to figure out.
Listen, this man eats chicken tendies with, like, very mild dipping sauce that probably for him is still too spicy.
Yeah,
Get
yeah, it's
your
called
fucking chicken.
ketchup.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he
Dude,
is
I've
being
seen
you.
so many TikToks over the course of the last 2 weeks where Latina people have been like, why do white people keep their hot sauce in the fridge? And then some white person will open their fridge and be like, because it says to on the label. Look, right here it says refrigerate after opening, and they'll hold up a fucking ketchup bottle.
Oh my God.
I saw one that held a mayonnaise jar.
Oh God.
That's so fucking silly.
So yeah, I don't really care for that, but you know what does intrigue me? This little rivalry we've got between Kaiser and Sheamus. I actually watched like an MV, which for those of you that kind of grew up in the same wrestling era I did, of like that early to mid 2000s when things were really popping off, it's pretty much just like a highlight reel of a certain match breaking down the
Oh,
best moments to some kind of accompanying background track.
yeah, yeah.
And so I
MV as
watched.
in music video.
Exactly. So yeah, I watched one of Sheamus and Kaiser, and it's really cool, man, to see Kaiser having matches like this. And
Dude,
Sheamus,
my mom was so pissed during this match. She was like, "Oh, come on, Sheamus. What are you doing?" Because she thought that Sheamus would just dominate Kaiser.
you got your mom's cadence perfectly there because I heard that in her voice. I'm like, God damn. Um,
Nice.
But no, dude, I gotta ask you because look, obviously, and I'm gonna try and keep it to a minimum this week, which I don't know why, but maybe it's just my idea of professionalism. So I'm not going to worship at the altar of Gunther too excessively this week. But I know that you and I are already fans of him. That is well established. What do you think about Kaiser getting a bit more shine here? I really thought he looked good against Sheamus, so I'm for it. How do you feel?
Yeah, man, I like Kaiser. I like Kaiser. I've said that for a while now. I think Kaiser's a good talker. I like him in the ring. He's not like special like Gunther
Yeah.
is, but like yeah, man, I think he's really good. I would definitely not mind him kind of getting that like borderline upper mid card push. And that's basically what we're seeing already. Like he's taking Sheamus to the limit, so that's pretty much what that is.
Yeah, bro, honestly, you read my mind almost exactly. Like, I don't know if we diverge on this point, but like I've been used to, and I'm sure you have too, because again, collectively, we've just been watching wrestling for decades, where championships go in ebbs and flows in terms of their prestige. Like the Intercontinental title one day is going to have a cool down period after all the work that Gunther put into it, where it's just going on people that it's like, oh, really? We go from Gunther to this. And when it's in that period, I wouldn't mind Kaiser holding it and maybe even Gunther putting him over in like a little program that's like, I made that championship. You can't really say you're the Intercontinental Champion until you go through me.
They should both
And
hold titles at the same time. Gunther World, Ludwig Intercontinental.
I would absolutely be for that. I really would. I don't even know what this means
Maybe
for
even put
Vinci.
the tag titles on them at the same time and just have them fucking dripped in gold.
Yeah, dude, holy shit. I mean, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. Um, And yeah, I'm really proud of Kaiser. I think this dude is stepping up. And what's funny is because we know in the Vince years, especially with characters like Del Rio, he always associated being a heel with like be aggressive, kick him harder, kick him
Dude,
more,
there
whatever.
was a whole era of WWE that was like that though, where like there would be someone who was already like listed as a heel that we knew as a heel, but then like they would show up one week and they would be like 8 times as aggressive as usual, and it would be like, oh, I guess they're doubling down on their heel status now.
But like with Kaiser, and maybe I am doing some mental gymnastics here, I will readily, cop to that. I think it works just because from a psychological perspective, he's paired with Gunther, who does not tolerate failure and has
Yes.
a very ideologically rigid view of pro wrestling that demands to be conformed to. And so that's what kind of makes Kaiser being of that breed one of the few exceptions where I'm like, you know what, this shit works. And I have to keep giving props to Sheamus. And an era of pro wrestling where 40 is no longer a death sentence or a clock winding down. And he is in his 40s. I don't even know if he's in his mid 40s at this point.
Are you talking about
Um,
Kaiser?
I'm talking about Sheamus because I was shifting my
Oh
praise
yeah,
to
he
Sheamus
is in
here.
his mid 40s. He's 46.
Yeah, see, that's insane. 46 and still competing at such a level that yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really do hope, and I think it will happen for him. I hope. I mean, we never know in pro wrestling that he does get an intercontinental title run at some point, just to complete, his whole journey and get that grand slam. But yeah, at 46 and still putting out matches like this and putting guys over, because putting them over again isn't just giving them the 3 count. It's being competitive with them, selling their shit, really looking like, man, I'm in it. I mean, Kaiser jumped him before the match really got underway, which gets him heat. Sheamus fought back like the spirited babyface he is, which again, it works for Sheamus because he loves to fight. So why am I going to quit a fight even if it didn't start the way I wanted it to? Yeah, this is an undercard feud, and I really have to give Imperium credit for this because this is another undercard feud that Kaiser's a part of that I feel like he benefits from. The first being when he was still with Vinci and they did that feud with the New Day, which that street fight on Raw was fucking fantastic. And speaking of Vinci, I have to wonder what happens to him and a lot of SmackDown's other undercard. Looking at you, Cedric and Ashante, because I
Yeah,
desperately
where the
want to see
fuck
you
are
work
they?
fucking nowhere. The same as Vinci, because we haven't heard from him since he got his ass beat.
He didn't
Yeah,
get
like
released, did he?
maybe. Maybe
Mm,
like honestly, dude, I wish they would have just put these people and a lot of other SmackDown undercarders on fucking NXT because I mean they
yeah.
wouldn't be working every week, but they'd probably be working more. At least level up for
Yeah.
fucking something. What are you doing?
Better
Um,
than getting fucking Hank and tanked every week. Christ.
yeah, and I don't even necessarily dislike those guys, but I agree with you there. I you got me hyped for this tag team, and I know we're talking about Imperium. I will get back to them in a second, but you got me hyped for that tag team, and then you just pulled the rug out. And Ashante had this great segment where he goes to Nick Aldis and says, where do I fit? And Nick Aldis assured him, like, oh, we got a plan for you. The fuck you do, Nicholas. I stand you every week against Adam Pearce, but you're making me look like shit here when it comes to a great act that you could be using that you're not using. Um, yeah. So anyway, back to what we're actually talking about. Yeah, this little program that Sheamus has got with Kaiser, I think it's really doing well for Kaiser, and it just shows that Sheamus at the stage of his career, he's still competing at a high level, which still makes him putting people over actually mean something. So big ups to him, honestly. Um, don't really feel the need to talk about this. Fuck Braun Strowman. Ah, yes! Daddy Chadius. Oh my god. Chadworth Gable. Daddy Chad. With all of that discipline, how are we feeling about the further developments of this storyline? Because man, the crowd is rabid for Otis to do something. How are you feeling about it, man?
I've been enjoying this storyline quite a bit, but I don't know if you heard, but his WWE contract's coming up.
My God, so are a lot of others. And all I know confirmed is that Ricochet apparently informed WWE that he will not be re-signing, which surprises me. Because it seems like WWE has finally been pushing him more. He's been getting a lot of TV time lately. So, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna bounce. They made him in the inaugural Speed Champion. Like, it's funny
Did
that
you
he'd
see
walk
he
away
lost that title recently?
to Andrade. And then
Yeah.
Twitter's been having a fucking field day with that shit, believe me.
Dude,
Um,
Twitter, I'm getting to the point that I'm honestly like 35% convinced that Twitter is infested with like anti WWE, pro AEW shills, basically.
oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I,
Because I
I
feel
I
like
see that
those are
all
like
the time.
the only people that would be like almost happy that Andrade isn't happy.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the type of person that's like, you know, basically enabling Tony Khan when Tony Khan is like in Andrade's replies, like, "See, I'm not that bad, am I?"
Yeah. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I wish I was
But
making that up, by the way, but he actually like unironically posted a GIF of I don't even remember who. I feel like who it was is actually significant, saying, "I'm not that bad, am I?"
God, do I want to be an asshole? Because I thought of a joke, but I don't know if it's a step too far. Fuck it. You, Tony, maybe stop bumping lines so you can go back to trying to bump your ratings. Fucking hack. Anyway,
That was
so
definitely
now
not
that I
intended
got
to be
that
funny,
off,
by the way. Just so
appreciate it.
you
Because yeah,
popped my
fuck Tony
mom.
Khan.
I just heard her giggle.
Nice. And that's really all that matters in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, dude, I'm still loving it. And again, I have to give
Ba
everybody.
da ba ba
I mean,
ba.
I have to give everybody credit here. Just wanted you to get it in. Everybody credit here, right down to Maxine, because this to me is completely resuscitated Otis. Just 100%. Like I was, how excited I was when he got the Money in the Bank, and then they did nothing. Actually, they did worse than nothing. They actively regressed him, just getting it on the Miz. When it's like, why not just have Miz in the ladder match and have him win it? Like, fuck, why did we have to take so many fucking steps to get here? But anyway,
Oh, it
now
was Gideon Graves. It was Gideon Graves from fucking uh Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
wait, what's the context here? You kind of took me out.
That was the character that Tony Khan posted the image of
Oh, oh, okay, yeah. I had
when he was
mentally
like,
moved on from that.
"See,
So
I'm not such a bad guy after all."
yeah,
Even though
goddamn.
that character unironically is a huge piece of shit. Like the whole gimmick of Scott Pilgrim versus the World is that none of the evil X's are actually all that evil, but he's the one that actually is. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And Tony Khan posted an image of him, of all people, saying, "See, I'm not that bad after all." But like, no, dude, you fucking are.
Well, way to tell on yourself. By the way, Super Blue to reprise because I know a lot has been happening here. Ricochet apparently has given notice that he will not be re-signing, which again shocks me because it's like I feel like WWE really had a renewed commitment in pushing him to the point where I even wouldn't have been surprised to be challenged Priest at one point for the title, as like even a mini program or like an episode of Raw or something. But yeah, no, I really feel like this program has done wonders for Otis. And I feel like he's right, not only right back on track. This might be the most over he's ever been, at least in a long, long time. And I'm hoping they could. Yeah.
I know. I just saw Alex Foster's message and it was funny. He said, "So how many heels are going to shoot their shot at Samantha now that Ricochet's gone?"
Oh my God.
I mean, Logan Paul already did.
Yeah. True. True. Yeah. I again reiterate that I really hope that this ends with Chad and Otis for the Intercontinental title.
Yes, dude.
With
It's funny
Otis.
because
Yeah.
my mom actually showed me a graphic. I think yesterday actually, and it was like five major titles, and it had a list of four different people's faces, and it was like, who out of these four do you want to be the next of this champion? And for the Intercontinental title, it listed, I think it was like Chad, Otis, Orton, and someone else I forget. And I was like, I mean, yeah, Chad, obviously, because I don't want Otis to beat Sami Zayn for the title. That makes no sense. But I want Chad to win it so that Otis can beat him for it. That's the ultimate
Yeah.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want Chad to get his nod. Because I mean, I still personally prefer him as that gritty baby face that'll just fight with everything, but he's made the heel turn work just objectively. I have to ask because I've been checked out. Are people still doing the "you suck" chants, or was that a one crowd thing?
I don't know.
'Cause
I haven't been paying attention to the entrance, honestly.
yeah, if anybody has, please let me know because I'm wondering if it was a one time thing or if it's really been bequeathed to
Oh, my
Gabe.
mom just told me yes.
So yes, they did. That's amazing. That is amazing. God, I'm so happy for him. Because see, I think that alone. Now Foster says, and to the contrary, that they haven't been chanting. So that's interesting. But if they
My mom
have,
does have a bit of a sus memory, so I would personally just believe Foster in this one over my mom.
see, and that is a shame because I was gearing up to say that if it stuck, then that to me kind of makes the heel turn all worth it. And he's still making compelling content regardless. I don't want to say that it hasn't been worth it, but it was a gamble to me. It was a gamble to me, and one that I guess is seemingly paying off, and for no other reason because hey, not just beyond the heat that they get, but how much energy are you giving the babyface? And Otis is getting a lot of it. They lay
God,
Sammy out. Yeah, what's up?
I just pulled up the Raw roster, and why do so many of the dudes on the Raw roster have huge fucking noggins?
I don't know, man.
I mean, good
I don't
lord,
know.
Brutus Creed. I mean, obviously, like the head of the table as far as gigantic heads goes is JD McDon't Google me. He's got
Yeah.
like we literally even made a joke this week about how like JD McDon't Google me is like Pinocchio, but instead of his nose growing every time he tells a lie, his head grows every time he assaults someone.
I mean, Gunther even said, "Which one of you is it going to be?" When he was in our college champion talking shit to the Judgment Day, the one with the face. Gunther is my world champion. Everybody else can eat shit, honestly. Like,
It's
I'm
true.
ready.
He's you know what? He's our uncrowned world champion. The crowning moment's going to be at SummerSlam when he gets the title shot.
I really really hope so, man, because I am so fucking ready.
And with
Um,
Carlito, it's not his head; it's his hair that's huge.
yeah, and his ego and his propensity for betrayal.
I
God,
mean,
that was
you want to talk
so.
about huge egos? It's the picture two to the right of Carlito. That's CM Punk.
Oh God, Jesus.
You want to talk about huge egos?
Yeah, so I think we'll just put a pin in this given that we're also having a lot of side combos. Braun destroyed Ricochet as expected, tried to take him out, but then Ilya kind of stopped the assault. Um,
Oh yeah, we're getting Braun versus Ilya. I think on Raw this coming week, aren't we?
yeah, it should be. And I actually really am going to try and tune in for that because I am curious. I think that'll be a first time one-on-one match. Actually, no, because I'm sure they
They
must have faced
wrestled
one
in
for NXT.
NXT. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't think I ever really was attentive to that. So yeah, I actually am going to try and be attentive to this. Really, I'm telling you all right now, if Braun's not in the Money in the Bank ladder match, if Adam Pierce actually has the audacity to commit another oversight with a big match,
Dude.
I'm just dialing Braun in to win the Rumble for 2025. Like,
I
just like
mean,
fuck.
that's very optimistic of you, in my opinion.
I mean, fair, but we have to see where it goes. A lot of time left. A lot of time left. And also still a good bit of time left before Money in the Bank. So we'll have to see in both cases. But yeah, I mean, clearly They just Braun is a one man wrecking crew.
We
He's
know.
going fucking rogue. Pierce can't rein him in, and I feel like I almost even wonder if they're trying to create almost Stone Cold esque vibes with Braun just being this anti authority because the authority is just so disrespectful to him. I don't know. I don't know. Um, so let's see. Oh wait, Super Blue said y'all did see that Braun Breaker was watching that segment, right? Because he's in my opinion the end game for the IC title. Possibly, possibly Super Blue. I mean, Sammy versus Braun could fucking cook. I don't deny that for a second. I just really want Chad to get his. And if they pass him over when he's got the most momentum he's ever had, then I will tell you right now that I've just resigned any hope of him ever winning a singles championship. Because like the iron is hot right now to just do it. And if they don't, I think that just says everything you need to know. So yeah, just gonna continue that with Braun. Kiana James beats Natalia in her debut. Dude, I gotta tell you, I'm starting to get because we were talking about Twitter earlier. One thing I noticed about Twitter, wrestling Twitter at least, a lot of people are getting sick of domestic crowds, especially now that they've gotten a taste of how much international fans have been hungering for fucking pro wrestling. And then you come back home and crowds are just dead. Crowd was so fucking dead for this. And I know it's like Natalia, but I got to give credit to both women. I like the chain wrestling that was happening here.
Yeah, I
I didn't
noticed
think it was bad.
Natalia was really hustling in this match.
Yeah, I think she really wanted to get Kiana James over. I think she really wanted to show out as well, especially because she
The
is
thing
doing
is, though,
stuff as
like,
well in NXT.
I'm sorry, like, I can respect Natalia for, like I said, putting in the work, hustling in this match, but like, it's Natalia, and like, she has gone out of her way to train the audience to expect nothing from her matches. So the one time she tries, she can't just expect people to be like, oh, Natalia is having a good match now. We should all praise her now. Like, no.
Yeah,
You've gone out of your way over the course of the last 20 fucking years, because she's been wrestling for like 24, uh, to teach people that when your matches are on, it's probably not worth paying attention.
yeah,
It's like AEW's women's division in general. Tony Khan goes out of his way to train his audience to not care about the women's division because he books them in garbage angles, short matches, the shortest matches at pay per views typically. He just goes out of his way to basically train his audience to not care about his women's division. So when his women's segments don't draw big ratings, you can't blame the women for it. You can blame Tony for it because he's the one that is booking the shit. Well, Natalia is kind of the opposite problem, where like she, in a sea of women who have been hustling for years at this point and busting their asses to make sure that people pay attention to them for years at this point, Natalia hustling one time after years of being boring as fuck isn't going to make a difference.
that's yeah. I really have nothing to say to that. Quick check in as far as women's division stuff is concerned. Do you have any thoughts about what they're kind of doing with Sonya Deville right now? Because I haven't been too
Dude,
dialed in.
I have to be honest. When Sonya Deville's on my television, I check out. I don't give a fuck about Sonya Deville.
Okay, just want to check in and see because I haven't been dialed in either. Not going to talk about that. No point in talking about Bianca and
I
Rhea
hope
when
it
they
doesn't
just
lead to her
retained the
wrestling
titles.
again. I know that. I don't miss her wrestling. I really wish she wasn't doing anything. Like I feel like she's kind of a burnt asset at this point.
Yeah. Okay, just seeing what else there is to talk about as far as Raw. Drew and Priest had another interaction leading up to Clash. Not really much to say here though. I think I'm just kind of ready for the match at this point, so not gonna really dwell on that.
Also, because I
Um,
do feel like I was really negative on Natalia, I want to say that the match with Kiana was solid. It was a good match. I'm
oh yeah,
happy that Kiana got a good version of Natalia. I just hope that Kiana gets a better opponent next time. And when I say better opponent, what I really mean is an opponent with a better reputation next time.
yeah.
Although
No,
I don't
I
know, Raw. I mean, maybe it would have to be someone in Damage Control. Put her against like Dakota or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
But Damage Control
I
hasn't been around since, or no, they did. They did assault um, Lyra. That's right.
Yes, they did. Yeah, that I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to that rematch. And Lyra had mentioned Money in the Bank because she was inspired by Jay Uso, who declared himself for men's Money in the
Yes.
Bank. I like Jay a lot. Obviously, I don't think I should have to defend that position to anyone. You guys should know that I've taken up for Jay many times on here, but did not like this. I really wanted qualifying matches. I think when you get an opportunity in kayfabe as big as Money in the Bank should be, because I seem to stand the concept the hardest because WWE has actively tried to fucking kill it. You should always qualify. You can't just be like, huh, briefcase for a world title shot that whenever I want over a year. I'm in. What? Yeah, I'm in. I'm just gonna show up. Let's do it. Oh, okay. Yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And it's like, no, earn that shit, bitch. What are you doing? So yeah, I
Well,
didn't
yeah,
like these.
Money in the Bank is only like 3 weeks after Clash too, isn't it?
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Just do fucking you could fit qualifiers in 3 weeks. I mean, just do maybe even like, let's see, it would be depending if you had 8 people or six, you just do a few Raw matches, a few SmackDown matches, and boom, you're fucking set. Because it kind of built itself, right? Because it's not like there's any animus. It's about the contract. So there you go.
Yeah,
Um,
I do agree with you that qualifiers are better. I almost wonder if they're going to just have the field be announced, since we already know that Jay's in it and he just announced himself. Like, are we going to have the rest of the field announce themselves? Are we going to have some of them announce themselves and some of them qualify? Are we going to have some of them announce themselves and the rest of them just be announced with a graphic? Like, yeah, I don't really know what
I
they're
feel
going
like
to
it's
do.
going to be a graphic announcement because if Jay's already announcing himself, I think they're kind of unserious on this point
Do
to
you
me.
think that that it's going to be another like 6 man Money in the Bank? Because I feel like that's become the trend.
Yeah, probably six. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who makes the cut.
Oh yeah,
I just want to
I
know who
wanted
makes the cut.
to,
Yeah,
before we move on to another subject, I wanted to kind of just backtrack very, very briefly to touch on this. This is WWE's first ever pay per view in Scotland.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, they've literally, prior to this month, they've only ever had two live events, like two televised events in Scotland, and it was back to back Raw SmackDown in Glasgow in 2016, in November of 2016. And yeah, those it was like a Raw and a SmackDown, boom, boom, no pay per view, and this is the only pay per view they've ever done there. So that kind of honestly makes me feel like they should be using Nikki Cross for something too, because she's like I think the only other Scottish superstar on the roster, and she's also the only Scottish superstar on the roster not doing anything there. So like,
Yeah, I know she's kind of pursuing her education at the moment. Unless I think she did recently get her PhD, so now she's Doctor. Not Doctor Cross. That's not her real name, but you get what I mean. So like, yeah.
her real name is Glenn Cross. Her real last name is Glenn Cross.
Oh, so yeah, Doctor Cross. There you go.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although
yeah.
actually, she married former Killian Dane, Big Damo, so maybe her actual shoot last name now is Mackey because that's his shoot last name.
Dr. Mac. Yeah, either way, it works.
Yeah.
Works. So
Is it
yeah.
Mackey or Mackle? It might be Mackle. I'm sorry. You continue.
Anyway, yeah.
But you know what?
So
Actually, before you do continue, I do just want to say, I literally just give her like a Money in the Bank qualifying match that she can even fucking lose at Clash at the Castle, and we're good.
yeah, I like that idea. I like that
Just
idea.
give her the opportunity to wrestle in front of her people. Fuck.
Um, this is the one angle where I'm gonna break my my rule about talking about certain stuff that like obviously would be mad about because I am concerned. You think we're finally gonna see the breakup of the New Day? Because Cross is trying to get in Woods' ear,
I
and it seems
really
like
hope not, because remember, we got to remember that there were so many instances that they teased a New Day breakup and they just powered through it. I hope that that continues. That that's we're just kind of like it's like a throwback storyline where like people who forgot how strong the bonds of the New Day are like going to speculate about it like us and be like, are they going to break up? Is it going to happen? And then they're just like, no, we're the fucking New Day. Are you kidding me? We're never breaking up.
I I tentatively come down on your side on this. Like, obviously, I'm very enthused about them staying together. The
Yeah.
tentativeness is, this is the first time in a long time that I've been worried because I don't think Big E is coming back, and it just seems like New Day is kind of stuck. And it's just a shame because I've wanted Xavier to have big success. I mean, Foster is, in the chat. Foster, it wasn't even that long ago that you and I had kind of a sidebar discussion in the Discord how when Gunther wins the world title, which I really hope happens, that's why I'm already acting like it's going to happen. That I would love for one program to be with Xavier Woods. I want to see him really show out because I think he has a lot to offer. That again, he's been underutilized and undertapped by the company, but I don't want him to do that in kayfabe at the expense of the longest standing bond in this company. Like, I would like friendship to win somewhere. And if I'm saying it, you're kind of fucked because I'm always the first one that's like, oh yes, betrayal, because I love that shit. But New Day feels sacred. It really does. It really feels like the stalwart against any stormy sea or anything else. That like no matter what happens around us, we endure as a collective. And I would have believed that more if Xavier Woods has had any single success to show alongside Kofi and E. Because Kofi and E had world titles. E had Money in the Bank before that. Kofi, I mean, God, there were memes at one point of Kofi just fantasizing about mid card titles because that's all they thought he would win, and he won a shit ton of them. Xavier's only ever had, tag gold and King of the Ring, but that was even before they were offering title shots, which I would feel a bit jilted about, to be quite honest. So yeah, there is gas in the tank this time to me with this, and what I fucking hate about it is it's fucking Karrion Kross. Like, why are we still trying to push this dude? I don't want to get too mired into this because again, it is our rule. Just don't expend too much energy on what you don't like. But I do like the New Day, which is why I made an exception to this.
I also just
They
have to
don't-
say, I think that like the simplest answer here is that he's a Triple H guy. Triple H likes Cross.
Well, Triple H needs better taste. I thought the nose was supposed to know, Hunter. Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
we've been kind of dealing with Triple H having some issues lately, and I really hope that he improves. But when I say hope, it's a very weak hope because I don't really have much of it.
yeah. So I don't want to dwell too much on this. I just wanted to air my concerns to you all because I can see in the chat how all of you feel. So I don't want to push it. But yeah, I am just know that I am concerned this time that like they might actually sever the New Day. And it's like for what? Just push Woods. Just push fucking Woods. Like like God, it's not that difficult to me. I don't know why you have to like do all this extra stuff. Um yeah, then I think the main event was just Damian Priest beating Rey Mysterio. And then I think Drew got laid out, and then Damien kind of posed over him, which cool. And Carlito was there too. I'm seeing a photo where Carlito just looks so out of place. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that was Raw. Now let's quickly talk about NXT, which I gotta be honest, NXT took a hit for me ever since they decided, yeah, Ethan Page. That's a great idea. Um,
You know the shittiest part?
he exists.
It's working. They popped the highest rating on the show.
Fuck.
Yeah, the contract signing to close the show was the highest rated segment on the show.
Oh my god. Why are
And
people
I should
enabling this?
also add on to that episode of NXT was the highest rated episode since the first of the year.
We're doomed. We're doomed. It's over. Okay.
And
Thank
I
you.
also read an article this week that Ethan Page is being praised for his mic work in that segment.
Ow. I've heard him on the mic. He's not good. Has he changed on the mic? Like, am I in the wrong here? Because I checked out of
Dude,
NXT this.
as far as
Yeah,
far as I could tell, because I did watch NXT beginning to end quite attentively, relative to my face. He was just fucking arrogant, and that's it. That's really all it was. He couldn't even handle heckling. Like the crowd was heckling, and he was like flustered by it.
but
Not
I'm
flustered
arrogant.
like stumbling over his words, just flustered like he couldn't leave it alone. He just kept having to address it.
But like, I'm arrogant with 20 times the charisma. Where's my fucking title shot?
I mean, are you vaguely around 6 feet tall and vaguely ripped?
Um, to the latter question, hell the fuck yes. To the former question, I'm 5'2", but lifts are a thing, and I'm about to lift my foot and shove it up fucking Ethan Page's ass. So yeah. Where's my title shot? You know what? I want Foster to be my manager because he's beautiful and he keeps me grounded and he's just so fucking wonderful. I want you to be my corner man. So like me and Foster, we're doing like all the press, all that other stuff, but you give me the fucking strategy so that I can ruin lives. And then Javaris can be my promo guy when I don't want to talk and be like, yeah, and just call all these people bum ass bitches because he hates Full Sail. So it'll be perfect. Instant heat. There, I completed it. I already surpassed you, Ethan,
Oh,
and I haven't even done anything yet. Fuck you.
I'm just imagining John coming out into the NXT ring in fucking 8-inch lifts.
Wow. Wow. Super rude.
You
Like,
said
yeah.
it yourself.
Yeah, but you didn't have to visualize it and then pop yourself. But then again, it's you. I should have known better.
Bro, did you
Uh,
see Liv Morgan's boots on Monday?
No, I didn't.
She had platform heels on, and even those were only giving her an extra like 6 inches.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, wow, that laugh at the very tail end, you had some Count energy there from Sesame Street. That was
Ah,
nice.
ah, ah.
Oh my, okay, relax. I feel like you're losing the plot. I feel like for like half of this review, you've wanted to just be like, I need to breathe, and you've wanted to rip off your composed face. I feel like we're losing you. Come back to me.
Javaris just offered to get us all kicked out of NXT.
That's amazing. Uh,
Anyway, so
but yeah, let's
yeah, like
on
I
a more
said,
serious.
but yeah, Ethan Page and Trick Williams, the contract signing, got the highest quarter hour on the highest viewed NXT since the first of the year. But I will say, I give more credit to that last part of it being the most viewed NXT of the year since that first episode. I give much more credit to the women because this was a very women centric episode of NXT. I believe there were 4 women's matches on this show, and it was just very women heavy episode of NXT. It was really well done. Um, Even though that last segment was the highest rated, it still only accounted for 1/9 or so of the rating. So it's not like it pulled such a high rating that it was just yanking the entire rest of the show up. It was just barely above the next highest rated segment. So it's not like it was crazy high or anything.
Speaking of the women and kind of grounding ourselves here, I did want to give you the floor, bro. What did you think about Jordan Grace this week? Because again, I checked out. Did the audience receive her well? Did she look
Oh yeah,
solid?
dude. I didn't I mention something to you on like our Mighty Goal reaction or our Stardom reaction or something about how like she's fantastic and she still moves just as well as she did
You
before
know
she
what you
gained all the
did?
muscle. Yeah,
Yeah, you did. I'm just glad that I had you reprise it though for this because this is obviously a more appropriate context than like a Monaco reaction. Just shove that in there
right.
randomly.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, that's good though. That's good because there was a time a little while ago where I feel like we were kind of concerned with Jordan Grace, like what's going on with her, like all that muscle, like goddamn. But
yeah,
no, yeah, no, I think it's all kind of evened out. And she looks like she's ready to go on a tear with this brief like NXT run representing TNA.
yeah,
So yeah, good for her. Good
yeah.
for her.
I like Stevie Tyler, or I'm sorry, Stevie
Stevie Turner. Yeah,
Turner. Yeah,
yeah.
Bobby Tyler. Now Stevie Turner. I like her, and she's I think maybe if we're lucky going to get another opportunity. I'm hoping that it's against another woman from TNA. It would be awesome if they gave Giselle Shaw an opportunity on NXT. Um, that would definitely be my number one choice, but we'll see. We also got, like I said, we got 4 women's matches this week. Jordan Stevie was one. Thea Hale versus Jasmine Nix happened. Natalia versus Izzy Dame, and then we also got the 6-woman tag between the 6 participants in the North American Women's Championship ladder match. So it was a really good week for fans of women's wrestling, and I know that you and I are both in that category.
Absolutely. I am so sorry, everybody. I'm about to take us way off the field here. I just read a headline that a python swallowed a woman whole in Indonesia. Jesus
Well,
Christ, that's
damn.
horrifying. Like, yeah, of all the ways to go, like, oh my God, that poor woman. Fuck. Anyway, yeah, after that nightmare fuel. Yeah, Perez tried to get a bit of an edge on Jordan, but Jordan didn't let it happen. And yeah, she just Roxanne kind of retreating. It's like, I'll see you at Battleground. Um, Fuck Sean Spears, Trick and Lash. Lash just pretty much was like, I need to focus on this women's North American title. Trick was like, I'm gonna handle Ethan Page, and that was that. Um, Apparently, they did a women's North American Championship summit. How did this come off to you?
Oh,
Did
dude,
anybody stand
yeah,
out?
this was interesting because I felt like this kind of allowed each woman to kind of it's almost like a check-in of like how are they doing on the mic, like how's their mic development going,
Yeah,
and I would say um, Kalani still needs work.
yeah,
Um, Lash, we already know Lash is fine. Lash has her way of speaking on the mic, and it works for her, and it's great. Um, I would say that Fallon Henley is in my opinion cringe, but like she has her little niche that works for her. It's whatever. You know,
yeah.
she's a fucking horse girl. Never trust horse girls. You already know how I feel about that. But to me, I mean, the real standout here. genuinely was Jada Parker. She was fantastic.
Nice.
She was really good, man. Um, I want you. It doesn't have to be live right now. It would be great if it was, but it doesn't have to be. To at some point just go and watch this segment at the very least to watch Jada's lines because she had some great one-liners, some great comebacks, and it came off very much like it was improvised, and that just impresses me even more because she was spitting some fire, and if it was unscripted, then she's got one hell of a future as a manager, even if the wrestling thing doesn't work out. And I think she's a good wrestler already too, at least a solid one.
Yeah.
This early in her career already. So I think Jada Parker won a lot of points with me for this, and I'm definitely excited to see more from her.
Nice, nice. Um, okay, so I've been kind of going through this recap at a breakneck pace, but I need to stop and reorient myself because when the hell did Javon Evans get entangled with Sean Spears? How do you go from like running with the champion, having his back and Trick Williams to working with this fucking scrub? I mean, I know he's only 19 and we got plenty of time, but that doesn't mean you should be fritting it away on bullshit. What is this? Because yeah, apparently Evans and Spears got in an altercation on NXT. So, do you have anything to say
Yeah.
to this?
So Sean was like Sean. God, Sean Spears right now has this weird thing where he thinks he's just the smartest guy in all of pro wrestling, and he thinks that he knows more both about pro wrestling and about everyone else around him than everyone else around him. Like he thinks he knows more about people than they know about themselves, which is kind of bringing us back to like the Ridge storyline and how like he was trying to tell Ridge who Ridge was deep down and like trying to convince him like, oh yeah, you do this on purpose. You're injuring these people on purpose, and it's like this like weird thing. Um, and like he was like doing like a course, like a lesson almost to a bunch of younger NXT folk. And Javon was there for some reason. Like Javon is young, obviously, but he was the only one that you could actually recognize out of the group that you could actually put a name to, because the rest of them were like relative no-name trainee types. And I don't even remember who it was that like approached and confronted Spears.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me see if I can find a name actually. Um, Briggs, fucking Josh Briggs stepped up to Spears, and Spears called Briggs a lost soul that needed guidance. And they were gonna have a match, but then Briggs got laid out in the back, and it was revealed to be Spears who did it. And then Javon stepped up to Spears and basically called him out, I think, in such a way that it would imply that he wanted to fight him in a match. And of course, Spears again did like the weird like therapy talk to try and like dress Javon down and act like he knew Javon better than Javon knew himself. I really hate everything that's going on with this Sean Spears character and the way that he's written, just because it's like they're almost trying to make him out to be like a guru type character, but like he's this fucking garbage ass, lame ass, mediocre ass, middle aged white dude that no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really, yeah, I think you just said everything that needs to be said. I feel bad for Evan and just like, yeah, he's way too good for this shit. And yeah, I really do not care for Sean Spears. Apparently Javaris popped for the cutter that Evans had, so that was pretty cool. Um and so yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with all that. But then yeah, we had a Heritage Cup championship match. Tony D
Oh yeah, they did
versus
end up
David Kim.
brawling. That's right. And Javon hit an insane springboard cutter on Spears, where like Spears was just in the middle of the ring and Javon literally from the apron did a fucking springboard cutter, and it was insane. It's definitely like highlight worthy.
Nice, yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out. Um, okay, yeah, and then we get a follow up because Jordan Grace is backstage. Mishin kind of met up with her. Soul Ruka went up to Grace saying, "Oh my God, you're jacked." But then Jada comes in and saying that the ass kissing was pathetic. Damn.
Dude,
Um,
I'm telling you, Jada was bringing fire this week. She was on point.
yeah, yeah, she really seems like she's hungry for it, man. I got to give her credit. Like she's got that hunger in her, and it's freaking awesome to see. Um, Paxley is still infatuated with titles according to this, but it feels like she's kind of cooled off a bit, as I said last week. So nothing more to
Well,
say
yeah,
there.
no, yeah, because she like showed up and she was like staring at Jordan's championship, her knockouts title.
Yeah,
So it's kind of implied now that maybe Tatum Paxley will actually show up in Impact in TNA and challenge Jordan for that title.
that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That's honestly that's genuinely one way to get me to check out an episode of TNA.
Yeah, same actually, because
And it might
I'd be
work
very
on
curious.
other NXT fans too. So you might actually be doing good business there and helping each other because NXT gets a really talented woman to pop some maybe some PPV sales, some PLE sales, and then yeah, you get one of NXT's lower card women that might draw some eyes over to an episode of Impact or two.
Yeah. And I do agree with Foster though. You know, Jordan was mean to Ariana Grace, so I can't support that either. I
It
mean,
is
that is
true. It is
yeah,
true. Yeah, Ariana, I think pointed out that they both had the same last name, and
yeah.
it was pretty great.
She tried to bond with her, and Jordan was like, no. And I'm like, your loss. So yeah, that happened. Let's see. Izzy Dame and Natalia, we know we're building up. Oh God, NXT. Fucking fuck Gallus. And let's see. Which is a shame because obviously they're entangled with Opa Femi, but I'm not
Dude,
wasting time on fucking Gallus this
we
week.
had a revelation in Discord tonight that like not only are Gallus problematic for the fact that like two of them have accusations, but like in kayfabe, like not even talking about outside of kayfabe stuff, like reality stuff, they're fucking racist.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
almost exclusively attacked black dudes.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a dog whistle, that's a foghorn. Like that's like just a really loud freaking horn just blaring into the air.
Yeah,
Um,
they've literally attacked Oba, Wes, Trent and Tyreek and Tyson, Trick, Javon. Like, yeah, they've literally it's only been black dudes that they've been attacking. The
yeah.
one exception is Ivar. Like Ivar is the only non-black dude that they've attacked, I believe.
Yeah,
And the only reason they attacked Ivar was because he was already injured and they had to write him off TV.
exactly, yeah. Oh my god, fuck Gallus. Then we did the six-woman tag, babyface team won, and then yeah, just the contract signing, which fuck Ethan Page. So that is pretty much it for NXT. So this is the point in the show where I usually hand it over to you if you have any AEW stuff you want to talk about. But then we go to
Oh,
our
well, we did get a Mariah May match this week.
yes, yes,
I'm pulling up the AEW results page on Wrestling Headlines. Let's see. Did I pay attention to anything else on this show at all? No, no, no. So okay, so Mariah May lost to Soraya, but there was a Mina moment afterwards, and it was pretty entertaining because Tony Storm was actually on commentary during this match, and Tony was actually fairly entertaining on commentary. I know there was a point that Soraya I think was like had Mariah in a headlock or something outside of the ring, right near Tony, and Tony was telling Soraya, "Unhand my child." It's like Jesus Christ, what is this? And yeah, so Soraya ended up winning with the fucking Scorpion crosslock, which we haven't seen in years. I feel like, and that was cool to see.
yeah,
But then there was a post match assault. It was Soraya and Harley. I don't know if anyone else got in on the assault. It might have just been Soraya and Harley beating down Mariah. And then Tony came to her rescue, but then they got a 2v1 on Tony as well. And that was when Mina came out for the save. And it wasn't even like Mina had to do anything. Oh, wait, no, she did. She had a discus back fist on one of them and a discus forearm on the other one.
nice.
And then we got like all three of them celebrated. And it was like, you know how um, there's always like this moment where Mariah will like put her face up in Tony's bosom.
Yeah,
I think Tony even says bosom, and Mariah will put her face up there. Well, this was like a reversal where Mariah had Tony and Mina up in her chest, and she was like holding one of them in each hand up to her boobs, and
Oh,
like just living in bliss, basically. And then on Rampage, we had a much more compelling match because it didn't involve Soraya. We had Mina Shirakawa versus Serena Deeb, and this was fantastic. They were working over each other's legs. Serena went after Mina's left leg. I'm pretty sure Mina went after Serena's right leg. Mina ended up getting the win with the glamorous driver Mina. I don't know if she
nice.
did a figure four driver Mina, but I think it was just the regular glamorous driver Mina. And then, I think Mariah was already out there with her, but I don't remember exactly. No, she wasn't. She wasn't. But then um, Mariah came out afterwards. That's what it was. Mariah came out afterwards to celebrate, and Tony was just kind of watching from the ramp. So it was, yeah, they're doing a really good job of building up to this Mina Tony match at Forbidden Door. It might end up actually getting me to tune into a pirated stream just to watch that one match.
I've had a similar thought, man. I've definitely had a similar thought. Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Hell yeah! This sapphic ass lesbian love triangle is fantastic and the best thing AEW has going for it.
So worried Mariah's gonna hurt me and pick Tony, but I have to believe one day that Rose Gold, even if she does do that, will heal, reunite, and my ship will fucking sail. So with that,
Did you see
and
the
I
card for tonight's collision, by the way?
no,
I posted it in the Discord. It is painfully white.
I'm not even gonna bother. I mean, that's all I needed to hear, honestly. Uh,
Kyle O'Reilly versus Orange Cassidy.
okay.
Wheeler Yuta, who is the one of the three people who is definitely who is not definitively white on this card. Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli versus FTR. Tony Storm versus Lady Frost. Robin Renegade, who I think might be Latina, but I'm not 100% certain on that, versus Chris Statlander. Dustin Rhodes versus Johnny TV, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm assuming Dustin won that. Ew. And then
Oh,
Tate Mayfairs, who I don't know who he is, but he's definitely a white guy, versus Daniel Garcia, who I think is just based on the last name, probably Latino.
well, okay.
Yeah,
So,
that was your card for Collision tonight, folks.
well,
One of
thank
the
goodness I,
easiest skips of my life.
yeah, I guess I also swerve when I drive because I ain't colliding with shit. Um, so
Wait,
with
wait, wait. Wouldn't that mean that you are though if you're swerving?
Well, I mean, swerving out of the direction so to avoid a collision. It's like I'm on that path and then bam, go the other way at the last second and avoid it. But
Nice.
anyway, regardless, opening up the forum for questions this week in the world of wrestling.
Yeah,
Go,
I
people.
did
What do you
not do
got?
any kind of extracurricular
I
anything.
assumed you didn't. I either did and don't remember or just don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm just ready for questions. Let's fucking do this. Um, Caster Sales, did you guys not hear the report saying that Nikki Cross is part of this new Bo Dallas faction? I might have, but I might have forgotten about him. Honestly, I'm just expecting the Wyatt Six. That is one thing I didn't say in our actual review of the week. I fully expect if Jay is in Money in the Bank for the Wyatt Six to kind of screw him out of it because I really feel like that's going to be the next major program that Jay has.
Why Jay
So
specifically?
well, I already told you this in conversation, but I'm glad you asked just so I could say it to the chat. They've already kind of mentioned how they're kind of doing the Fireflies for Jay, and in one of those WWE.com exclusives, they were like, "Oh, how does it feel?" Because they used to do that for Bray Wyatt, and Jay was like, "Oh, it's cool to be connected to Bray in that way." So they're explicitly mentioning Bray, mentioning the cell phones that they used to be Fireflies, stuff like that. And I think even though it's a tenuous connection, might be enough for the Wyatt Six to take action. So that's kind of been my thought.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Before we do move on, I do want to say I do agree with Javaris that wrestling has kind of sucked this week, but that's also another opportunity for me to say I think that NXT was the bright spot of the week.
Yeah, honestly, even looking at the recap, I would agree with you. It seemed like they had some solid stuff on there. Um, Not gonna answer that question, Super Blue. That is very unserious. Foster, do you guys think if Gallus team up against Trick, metaphor could even the score? First of all, 10 out of 10 for the rhyme scheme, 20 out of 20 for the face. Second of all, it would be interesting. It would be interesting because Lash would want to do it to protect Trick, but no one would want to do it for revenge. So yeah, I could see it. I could honestly see it.
Could you
You have
see
anything?
Could you see Metaphor? I think what he's asking though is if Metaphor would team up with Trick.
No, and I'm saying I agree because I think
Right.
Lash would encourage him to do it because she wants to see Trick protected and have the numbers, and no one would be amenable to it because he wants revenge on Gallus for the beatdown, and
Wait,
Mensa
but
as well.
Gallus didn't do the beatdown though, did they?
Oh no, that was Ethan Page. You're
Yeah.
right. Um, Even so, I could see it because they did also kind of diss Metaphor as well. Because we remember that Aura Mensa and Lash backstage segment with Gallus. And Gallus was like, "Oh, we thought you were better than that, whatever." So there was kind of a little bit of disrespect there. So
Yeah.
I could see it.
You know
Maybe
what
maybe,
though?
maybe
Give
it's a
me
bit
an
of a stretch.
eight-man tag. Give me Trick, Javon, Noam, and Oro versus Ethan and all of Gallus. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, there you go. Uh Again, not answering the Super Blue question. So any other questions that are actually serious? I think we can.
Javaris is glad that his power got knocked out during Dynamite.
Yeah. What do you think will main event Battleground? Honestly, at this point, I'd want a women's match main event Battleground, particularly the ladder match,
I
because I
think the
feel like
ladder match does make the most sense, but it wouldn't surprise me if they had Shayna and Lola main event it.
you know what? I'm gonna co-sign with you on that. I think NXT Underground will main event. Yeah, because I just don't see Trick and Ethan as main event worthy because it was just so haphazardly put together. So yeah, NXT Underground. Oh, this question is just for you, Ashton. Foster asking
Oh,
you thoughts on the New Japan title thread.
oh, right. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, we had a big discussion in the Discord, but I guess it does help to kind of make this more public facing and then kind of make this kind of more out there for people to hear because Alex posted a Twitter thread earlier from a Twitter account at Smark Infested. The name is Smark Infested Waters, who made a thread of New Japan wrestlers having opinions on Moxley, AEW, the IWGP title, and New Japan's handling of it all. And it was just basically a bunch of New Japan wrestlers talking about how they have basically complicated, if not outright negative feelings about Moxley being the IWGP champion and not actually being in Japan with the title. So now every time they go to a show in Japan, the people who are there, the fans, are not able to watch the IWGP World Champion wrestle, and they are like really, really unhappy about that. And when I say they this time, I'm actually talking about the roster, not the fans. I mean, I'm sure the
Yes.
fans are unhappy too, but I'm sure that the roster is like feeling pretty unhappy about it. And we basically had a whole conversation, me and Alex and Javaris, and I know Craig got involved at one point. Um, Basically, just talking about how one-sided the AEW New Japan relationship is, um, and just talking about how AEW makes New Japan look really weak, and how I even said about how Kenny and the Bucks and Hangman necessarily had to leave New Japan, which that action in and of itself created a huge void in New Japan. And I even said that it was at the time possibly the biggest exodus in a Japanese wrestling company since the group of wrestlers in All Japan left to create Noah. And they
Yeah.
did that to create AEW. So, like, immediately, the entire existence of AEW is built on a foundation of causing harm to New Japan, right?
Right.
And then what did they do after Kenny left to try and build their next new big Gaijin ace? Who did they go to? Jay White, who also fucking left them for AEW. So okay, Jay White leaves. Now who do they go to? Will Ospreay, who also fucking left them for AEW. And now it's David Finlay that they're trying to build as their new Gaijin ace, which is A, gross, and B, I even said in the little conversation that we had, I'm like, okay, well, now how long before Tony Khan's petty ass throws out a big money contract to David Finlay, not only because he has shit taste, but also because it just seems like any Gaijin ace that New Japan tries to build up, he's just insistent on stealing them away from him or from them.
Yeah.
And then, like, not only is it the Gaijin aces, but like they literally took not only the guy that was New Japan's ace, but arguably the face of Japanese wrestling as a whole in Okada and brought him over to AEW. And it's like they've taken everything. It's like now not only are they taking all of the top wrestlers from New Japan, but now it's even gotten to the point that they've taken their top title. They put it on
Yes,
Moxley. Like they had, and they didn't even do it at an official New Japan show. They did it at a New Japan Strong show. So we know Geto doesn't control the booking of New Japan Strong. Rocky Romero does. So they had Rocky Romero book John Moxley winning the IWGP World Title for AEW from Naito. And I'm sure Geto had to sign off to it to some degree, but like at what point do you just realize like how much control does Geto even have at this point, right?
exactly.
So now John Moxley is the IWGP World Champion. His first defense was on a random ass episode of Dynamite against Powerhouse Hobbs, who in no way, shape, or form earned that title shot in my, experience, from what I understand. And then his other two, I believe, title shots have been Shota Umino, who is his own protege, and Ren Narita, who's a fucking dimeless dweeb that no one's ever paid to see in their lives.
Yeah,
So like, and now tonight, now this morning I should say, because it is 10 after midnight. Moxley is finally going to Japan again to defend the title. This time it's going to be against Evil, who is another New Japan wrestler that fucking nobody wants to see that title on. But it's gotten to the point now that New Japan faithful, New Japan fans are like, please put the title on Evil. We'll fucking deal with it. Just get it on somebody that's actually a part of the goddamn company and tours with them, for fuck's sakes.
yeah, that's really rough, man.
That's how bad it's gotten. Yeah.
Like, I honestly, I will say, like, fuck New Japan as a company, but I absolutely feel bad for the fans. Like that is awful. Um, so yeah, kind of getting off the New Japan AEW train because I think you had such an extended statement. I have nothing to add to that. I don't think anything more really needs to be said. Let's kind of go back up. Okay, caster sales. Do you think there will be a lot of interference in the Drew versus Priest match? Definitely. I either like probably both Judgment Day members and CM Punk probably. I could definitely see it. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. I'm worried about Drew mentally. Let's see. Super Blue, any previews and predictions for Battleground? I don't know. Ashton, you want a real quick run down the card?
It is tomorrow
Or
night. I actually wanted to ask you, did you want us to go live and live react to any of the matches on that show?
um God, I'm really not in the mood to do any work tomorrow, to be honest. So
I
I'm gonna yeah,
love
no.
that for you.
Yeah, I'm really not. No. If you're asking me, no. No.
Okay, all right.
Uh
So
so
let's do a quick preview prediction in the meantime, though. Uh,
yeah.
okay, so I would say the match that probably matters the least is NXT Underground Shayna Lola. Do we think that they actually have Lola go over there, or is it just like a she really took Shayna to the limit? That was a really valiant effort kind of thing.
Um fuck. No,
Or does Shayna
Shayna's
just
gotta
put
win
her in her
here.
fucking place?
I think Shayna puts her in her fucking place because here's the thing: Lola only beat Natalia because of Shayna.
Yeah,
So like, I feel like the story is you couldn't even beat Natalia. How the hell are you gonna beat Shayna? So no,
yeah.
Shayna puts her in her fucking place. That better be what happens. Christ,
Do we think that maybe this leads to Shayna challenging Roxanne?
that would be amazing. I'd be 1,000% in favor of that.
Yeah. It's just a little awkward though. Although I guess Shayna is kind of baby facey in NXT, so it would kind of track. It's like Shayna is kind of like this babyface ish character where she's like this badass who puts the out of control heels in their place, basically.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I could see it working. All right, yeah, I'll sign on to that. Shayna wins. Frazier and Axum versus the OC. I'm actually rooting for the OC to win this here.
You know what? I do think they're gonna win it. Maybe it just gives some momentum for the club. What do they call themselves now?
The
Well, now that
OC.
so it is just the OC. No, I thought that was just Gallows and Eddie, but yeah, you're right, just the OC. Yeah, it could give him some momentum leading into Clash for AJ and his I Quit match with Cody. So I'm actually I'll say OC. Fuck Axiom and Frazier anyway. I mean, tag titles are still on dweebs, but they're meteor dweebs that feel like they're not dweebs, which in a way is kind of worse.
Yeah.
Eh.
It's like we went from like the skinny geeks that feel like underdogs, that it's like a cute story that they won it all, to like now it's like guys that people don't really care about, but like it's a big deal when someone beats them now.
You begged for your title shot in the first place that allowed you to win that gold. You're losers. Get
Yeah.
over it and get comfortable
Yeah.
back in your place.
Yeah.
Ne-
Yeah.
next,
Um Oba, Wes, and Joe Coffey, triple threat for the NXT North American Championship.
Oba pins Joe Coffey. I continue to stay on decaf because fuck Gallus and West gets his shot at Heatwave. That
I
should be
mean,
how it
fuck.
fucking goes.
When you word so perfectly, I can add nothing. Yes,
It's my
exactly.
face, son. That's why
Yeah.
we work so well together.
All
Fuck.
right, Roxanne Jordan.
Roxanne definitely, but hopefully it's a banger. That's
I
all I care
really
about.
hope this slaps. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, hopefully. All right, so the only matches we have left are Trick Ethan and the NXT North American Women's Championship ladder match. Let's talk Trick Ethan first. I really hope Trick just retains here, but I have this weird gut feeling that Ethan's actually going to win the title, and I really hope he doesn't.
I want to apologize, remember, because I can tell inside of me that I'm turning up with each passing minute, and so I just really need to be honest about the fact that the very existence of this match is offensive to me. I think it's fucking hideous and repulsive. Much like Ethan Page's personality, he's not a good worker. He's really fucking mid. I literally said at the start when we kind of broached Ethan into the conversation, which was like infecting a really beautiful discourse, that I could surpass Ethan with no effort, and in fact, I already have. So yeah, he can go fuck himself. And if they're really gonna do this, like KO-esque bullshit, except even more than KO, because I think it took KO 3 months and Ethan Page if he won in one match. Oh mama, I would not feel good about that at all.
Oh, mama.
That's my restrained reaction to that.
I mean,
Um,
Trick goes home to mama every night.
well, yeah, and that in that way he's still a winner and will be an undisputed champion until the end of that relationship or just the end of time, because obviously I hope they last. But yeah, I mean Ethan Page winning gold. I mean, look, I just got to check in because I usually use Foster as my barometer because I'm like 77.75% sociopath. So, like, if Foster says that a guy can go fuck himself, then I know I'm not in the wrong. Foster, can Ethan Page go fuck himself? I just want to check in there. But yeah, I just feel like if he wins this championship, it puts it in the same position as the tag titles where it's on a fucking dweeb. I don't want NXT to be the land of the dweebs, okay? Like, you have options. Trick should just retain and go on his monster run. You did all this work for him. No, no way he's fucking losing. Trick is retaining. Fuck Ethan Page.
Awesome.
Oh,
All right, let's
God.
talk about the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match now. Sol Ruka.
Easily the hardest match to predict for me, so I
I
want you to go
was,
first.
yeah, I was gonna list all the women that are in it if that's okay.
Oh, of course, of course. Sorry.
Sol
Go ahead.
Ruka, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Michin, aka Mia Yim, and Kalani Jordan. I personally feel like Kalani Jordan is the least likely to win here. I feel like I would if I were like giving betting odds here, it would be like 2020, 20, 20, 20 to the five women that aren't Kalani and 0 to Kalani. I just don't think she's likely at all because she's still very, very green. She's good but not great in the ring, not good on the mic, and she's like still very much like babyface kind of coming up, like babyface underdog type. So it wouldn't really make sense to me for her to win here. But the other five, I feel like it's literally pick your poison. It could be any of them in my mind.
Okay, so because there's kind of like you finish your statement there and there's a pause there, I'll take the ball real quick to say that it comes down to three for me, and that's Lash, Sol Ruka, and Fallon.
You don't think
Those
that
are
either of Jada Parker or Michin has a chance here?
Meechin, I feel like because she's like the veteran, there's really no need for her to have this unless they just want to establish it early. So I'll keep her on the periphery. And Jada, honestly, I know we're usually against like the whole like too much too soon rhetoric, but I don't know. She still feels a little too green to me to be a champion right now for me. So I'm
She's
not
been
really.
carrying herself like a champion recently, in my opinion.
She has though, I will concede that to you. I will concede that to you 100%. But like I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'll put it to you this way. I don't disagree with you fundamentally that the five pack kind of race here is tight. I'm just saying for me personally, I can narrow it down to three. I don't blame you though for still giving weighted consideration to the remaining
Yeah,
five.
because I
Um,
also look at Mia as like she never won any titles while she was in NXT the first time around. So maybe the second time around they want to like give her like almost like a consolation prize and have her be like the head of the mid card of the women's division, basically.
bro, how fucked would it be if like the OC and Meechin win gold from NXT and like AJ doesn't get it done at Clash, and so he turned evil and wore slacks for no fucking reason. and like he's
Dude,
just
I've
going.
seen people say that he's gonna lose the I Quit match, and they're gonna use that as a way to say that he quits WWE and then he has a one last run in TNA because of this partnership that they've got going on.
That dude, that would be fucking nuts.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Dude, especially with like because AJ has aired his grievances about TNA. He hasn't buried them by any means, but he's taken little pot shots over the years here and there about some of the booking. And like,
Hmm.
I don't know where he stands with that. Yeah, no, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. We'll have to see. Um, but yeah, my rationale for the three, by the way, just to get that in, Sol Ruka had that winning feud against Blair Davenport, who I feel like was treated
Yes.
like somewhat of a bigger deal in NXT,
Hmm.
just for no other reason than just being hated by everyone and taking everybody out that tried to come for
Yeah.
her. Fallon did recently have the heel turn and putting Fallon first. I feel like, Briggs has struggled to find himself since the breakup. Jensen's doing a fucking program through Twitter right now. I have
Dude,
no idea how he's
this
going to come back.
Jensen shit is, oh my god, so bad. Like, we've discussed frequently over the course of the last several months that I feel like NXT trends towards being a really good product, but it also has some of the absolute worst shit in wrestling on it. We're lucky that the Jensen shit isn't actually televised because it would be in that class.
My problem with it, just since I kind of broached this subject here just to talk about Fallon, and I want to get back to that real quick, but just to address Jensen, my problem with it was that I have praised a lot of workers. Like, look at Trick, right? And this is why Trick fucking gets the game and why I can understand they want to make him a top guy. After Mello attacked him, you didn't see him tweeting like, "Oh, what was me?" He was silent until he came back. Jensen, to me, should have just tweeted, "Oh, I got released," and maybe a video. I don't know how good his acting jobs are, so maybe that would have been too much a risk. Just like kind of railing against the company a little bit and being upset, or maybe even honestly just the release and being silent, because that would have worked everybody. But the idea that you keep tweeting after the release, taking punches, like you're just telling everybody it's a fucking work. Like you want to make people buy in, right? And I would have bought in if he just said, "Oh, I got released," because and then you could have even had WWE put out a fake statement or put him in the alumni section like they do. But no, you just had to keep talking. And that's what ruined it for me. Because it's like, oh man, you could have had this mystique about you. And now it's like you're telling on yourself so hard. But yeah, with Fallon, now she's turned heel. It seems like just as a character, she's the most focused and dialed in that she's been. So it could seem like it's her time. And then, so I said Soul, Fallon, and then who was the, oh, Lash.
Lash.
Lash, of course. Like, it's fucking Lash. Like, I
Dude,
feel like she's been
right?
ready for him for a while.
Lash
Like,
feels
yeah.
like the most automatic. Like, Lash to me is the correct answer to who wins this match. Like, there are no wrong answers other than maybe Kalani, just because, again, I feel like she's still just so green in
Too
terms.
early for her, too. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I feel like of the two specific women in this match that feel like it's a little early for, she's the one that doesn't quite feel like she's ready for it. Because I feel like Jada's ready. Like, I feel like Jada's there. You could put the title on her and I would get it. Kalani,
Yeah.
no, not so much. And I like Kalani. I've been a fan of Kalani literally since before she even wrestled because you can go all the way back in our Discord to when they actually showed a video of Triple H telling a whole crop of people that he's offering them contracts and she was one of them and I immediately was like, "Oh my god, she's cute. I want to watch like her career as it develops." And it turned out to be fucking Kalani Jordan. So like I've literally been a fan of hers since the day she fucking signed with the company. And like even still, she's not ready yet. So other than her, it's like, yeah, there are no wrong answers. Because Soul, I feel like, might be kind of exactly what WWE looks for in a first champion. She's got kind of like that like Wonder Bread baby face almost, where she's got all the potential in the world. She's the smiling baby face that everyone loves. She has the one really cool looking finishing move that everyone can't wait to watch her hit in every match, and it makes her matches exciting just because of anticipation. You know, like she's like fucking paint by numbers baby face in WWE. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then yeah, like Fallon is like the recently turned heel who's recently like found her new identity. That's another like trope of WWE. They love putting titles on that type. Jada, I think there's the least justification for, but again, like the way that they've built it up and the way that she's been carrying herself lately, I could see them doing it just to be like, damn, like you, like we told you, we were going to make this title and nobody has shown that they were ready for it more than you in the months leading up to this. So you're welcome and thank you.
Yeah.
Michin, again, with Michin, it's like, you've been here for so long. This crowd fucking loves you. They practically got you your job here in the first place when they said, please sign Mia, the chance back in the Mae Young Classic. And then like you never won a title in your first run here. You got called up. They didn't do anything with you up there then. So we brought you back down here so you could have something to do. And now you've been killing it down here again. We want to reward you with a title that you couldn't have been rewarded with in your first run here. Here's the NXT North American Women's Championship. Thank you for your service. And then of course Lash is just like, she's fucking Lash Legend. Like you don't need to justify it. It's Lash fucking Legend. It's Mama, according to Javaris. Like, I feel like there have been moments where you could have believed her winning the NXT Women's Championship, like the World Championship, and now you're telling me that there's a mid card title that she can win. Yeah, like 100% you could buy it.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, it's like, I think if I had to like settle in on one specific pick out of my own cynicism, I'm picking Fallon.
I think, yeah, because we haven't even formally made picks yet. So you're saying Fallon? God damn it. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say Fallon.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
she's the person that I least want to win, so I'll pick her so that if I'm wrong, I'm happier to be wrong.
yeah. But if you're right, at least you were prepared for it. Because it's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So there's our preview predictions. What's our next question? Because that was one question in Q&A.
God, yeah, dude. I was ready to close the gates after that, so I guess we'll keep it open a bit longer. Super Blast again. Do you think we could get a TNA Superstar surprise at Battleground? I'm gonna say no. I think we need to relax a little bit on that, and I'm just gonna wait and see the pace of WWE wants to go with it because we're already getting Jordan Grace. Like, you don't want to do too much now, in my opinion, at
I'm
least.
hoping
So,
that our next surprise is Bobby Turner or Stevie Turner's opponent next Tuesday.
is she winning a wrestling again next Tuesday? And it's like what, a mystery opponent?
Well, I mean, they kind of did the thing backstage where she kind of went up to Ava and was like, "Hey, I appreciate the opportunity, but it seems kind of unfair that you would put me against Jordan Grace of all people. So I think I deserve another opportunity." So there's kind of this implication that she's going to get another opponent that's also going to be similarly OP to Jordan Grace. That's going to be like another embarrassing defeat for Stevie. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that it's like another TNA person. Maybe knowing WWE, it's going to be like fucking Mickey James, and I'm going to be disappointed. But like, I'm really hoping it's Giselle Shaw. That's like my number one hope.
that would be really cool. I gotta be honest with you, bro. I'm excited about the TNA deal and everything to a point. I'm just focused on Roxanne getting past Jordan so we can start building up Julia Roxanne Heat Wave. Like, I don't think
Dude,
you guys
the
understand.
only reason
Yeah,
that I'm not even thinking about that is because I'm not entirely convinced that Julia is going to be recovered from her injury by then.
if she isn't, I'm a patient man, but I just want to say in broader strokes, I don't think y'all understand just how much I'm anticipating that fucking match. Like, I haven't opened up my year-end award list in a while, and I was really good about it at the start of the year. But I feel like that's gonna dial me back in, at least as far as like match of the year contenders go. I have so much hype and such high expectations for that match. I could be setting myself up for disappointment, but honestly, the women involved in that are just of such a caliber, they're worth that risk. I do think they're worth that risk of me putting myself out there and getting excited and like, yeah, like I'm just all for that.
By the way,
Um
just want to throw this one out there. One other name from TNA that I would absolutely love to see be Stevie's next opponent, Masha Slamovich. Those two are the
love
top
that
two
idea.
on my list.
Yeah.
Giselle or Masha, I'll be very, very stoked.
I love that idea. Love where your head's at. Super Blue, do you think that Josh Alexander may show up on NXT to face or join Ethan at some point? I hope not. He's ass.
You're
He is
right. You're right.
yeah.
But I did literally just see posted in the wrestling news channel of our Discord. In speaking with NXT talent about possible crossover matches with TNA, Leon Slater and Josh Alexander were spoken of highly as two names NXT talent wanted to work with from the company.
Well, it looks like NXT really is in its dweeb era. I mean, I keep using that word. I mean, I'm
I mean,
sure
I'm
the
stoked about the
headgear.
possibility of Leon Slater.
Well, what? Well, Leon Slater. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he Leon Ruff in NXT in that first run?
No,
And
that
then
was
like,
that. No, Leon Slater is the 19-year-old kid that Tony Khan didn't sign instead of Nick Wayne.
I remember we were all kind of like, "What the fuck, Tony?" At that at the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the
Okay.
one that
Okay.
does a fucking 450 swanton or something like that. Crazy shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, he's nuts. I could see why NXT would want to, have him showcased for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck Josh Alexander though. Yeah, watch the headgear not pop him, Josh. Or maybe it would. It's Full Sail. I don't know. It's pretty backwater. But yeah, let's see. I don't see any other I heard that little pop you had there. I don't see any other questions. So I'm just gonna close the gate. I think we indulged this enough. So now it's time for high spots and low shots. I know Javaris, because life isn't fair, that's why. High spots and low shots. My low shot,
Oh boy.
God, I'm in such a mood and there are so many flavors. What do I do? Um, God,
Think about which show sucked the most and then figure out why.
no, wait, actually, you're right. You're right. But I'm gonna do something more me than that because that's a very emotionally mature option.
Oh,
That's not me right now, though. I
okay.
am not in that headspace. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do instead, and I'm glad that I was able to tell you that in a very adult, just calm, straightforward manner.
Yes.
What I'm going to do instead is I'm gonna make my honorary high spot Xavier Woods or honorary low shot Xavier Woods because I gotta be honest, and it's only because he's the best seller in the business. I will never not love seeing this man lose everything he cares about. And the idea that you could
Wow.
be losing the longest standing friendship in WWE history, it saddens me, but the really sick part of me that desperately needs help, yeah, yeah. So low, fucking high low shot, I guess, actual low shot. Wow, I really popped myself. I took myself out of the conversation. Actual low shot though. So honorary low shot, Xavier Woods. Actual low shot. Odious is a dork, but he had a good week this week.
Did he?
Paul Heyman's still unsafe, but nothing's happened to him. I'll pop when his throat gets thumbed. Huh. God. I can't even say like Judgment Day because Damian Lay drew out. Maybe Drew would even be my low shot this week. Wow, Super Blue. You know what? I did kind of deserve that though. I was kind of reveling in my own evil there. He kind of brought me back down to earth. It was rough for Kevin because he got his ass beat after that 6 man. Yeah, yeah. Maybe Kevin would just be my low shot actually.
Oh,
Um,
phooey.
dude, I know. Um, because yeah, they did win by DQ, but it's a DQ win, and then he got like laid out. So it's like, what win mattered more, you know? So
I
yeah,
love
I
the
guess
way
I'll.
you word sometimes.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I guess it'll just be Kevin. So who's your low shot as a more emotionally adjusted human being? What do you got going on?
Jonathanius Garganius.
Oh my God, yeah, he's gargling something.
He
Yeah,
lost to
Grayson.
Grayson Waller in the worst match of the week.
Yes. So so no honorary low shots.
No.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Honorary.
yes, Thea Hale. Thea Hale.
Cool, cool. Yeah, because I
She
know
lost
Super
to
Blue was.
Jasmine Nix.
Yeah, yeah. Um, God, I really don't want to stop being me right now. So I okay, honorary high spot, Chadius, because he's continuing to discipline the faction the way it needs to be until he wakes up and trades for the Creed brothers. But actual high spot, you know what? And this is where I'm actually gonna be serious and kind of ground myself a little bit, while still indulging my inner me. I'm gonna make my high spot Ludwig Kaiser.
Ah.
He's
Did
he's
he
getting
lose though?
no, he beat Sheamus.
He
He
beat
beat Sheamus.
Wow. I thought he just took him to the limit. I didn't realize he actually beat him down.
No, he fucking beat Sheamus, dude. And like
Hot diggity dog.
he attacked him before the match, which protects Sheamus. It was a genuinely solid match again, based on the music video that I watched of it, which honestly is better than a WWE YouTube video because I feel like they leave a lot of stuff out, whereas the music video is just really pacing the match incredibly well in like 3 fucking minutes. Um, which like low key, if WWE really wanted to be in the future, all of their like highlights, at least they would like pick one match per week that they would do a highlight video like that of. That would be really fucking cool. But anyway, yeah, I mean Ludwig is getting a push and he's holding it down. Like I'm really like, I had a lot of fun this week with this segment. Just because again I could feel myself turning up with each passing minute. I'm like, oh god, I need to release. I need the release valve. Where is it? But no, this I think is an earned one. He beat Sheamus, who's a decorated guy, beyond established. It was a great match, and it makes Gunther look good. See that's the thing about factions that I think WWE knows, but they don't always abide by. you're only as good as the members that comprise you. And why the bloodline I took so seriously is because Jay Uso would show out. I mean, really, when Jimmy came back, it all started going to shit because I mean, well, I'm a twin. Nobody gives a shit. But
We
you know,
gotta win
Jay
the
and
tag
Roman,
titles. Oos.
yeah, yeah. And then I mean, Solo just really gets a lot
Fuck
of
your
thick tape around.
dreams.
Exactly, exactly. And then Solo just really knows how to make that tape thick around the thumb. So cool. But then I mean, you know, compared to Judgment Day, what's your victory party consist of? Fucking Capri Sun and chicken tendies? Go fuck yourselves, except for you, Rhea, because you were clearly the leader, and now it's all falling apart without you. But yeah, I mean, you know, like Kaiser winning makes Gunther look good. Gunther winning makes Imperium look good because he's the head of it, right? And they're both cooking right now. I mean, Gunther's going to fucking SummerSlam, and Kaiser, dude. I mean, I know you said this way earlier in the show, and it might have even just been like a throwaway thing, just putting it out there. But when you say Kaiser is IC champion and Gunther is world champion, that's a fucking vision, bro, and it's a legit one, and one that I could see WWE capitalizing on, and I would not blame them for. So yeah, I really this is more of an extended high spot for me, and I apologize, but I really just had to give Kaiser his flowers because I've wondered if they were ever going to push him, and now they are, and it's working, and he's making it work. So all my respect to him, honestly, because I know that's not an easy place to be. Very curious though, who your high spot is.
Well, I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I still haven't quite figured it out yet. So I'm gonna just say Jada Parker because she definitely had the most impressive week and sharing the most points with me this week.
Well, you know what I think about that? I think despite the fact that you really couldn't figure it out, that I still love you and that what you landed on was still a beautiful answer and that's great. So
Not
I
as
think,
beautiful as your face, though.
oh my God, I'm blushing right now. Let's all relax. Mainly me, actually, I can say
Stick the
for once.
landing right before the show ends. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think we killed that segment. So I feel good about our picks. Yeah, no final thoughts from me. Any final thoughts from you? I mean, this week kind of sucked, so I guess not, huh?
Send her home, baby.
So yeah, this has been in the weekend review. This has been TwitWoW the best. Yeah, I didn't do the cool intro at the beginning, so I'll do it now. The
Wow.
best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans
Oh,
on the web
up in the
today.
ear canal.
Yeah, get that comfy pillow, get some cocoa. I know it's summer, but fuck it. Weather doesn't tell you what to do. And just drift off into that deep sleep as we close you out for the weekend, baby. I want to ask you all to like the video as you file out, subscribe, and ring a ding that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of that TwitWow goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And we'll be seeing you again. I mean, Ashton, talk to him. Is it just going to be Wednesday for a Mario Gold show? What's our week looking like? Because I know Stardom's always a lock for Thursdays, and that should be like an easier week. What's oh wow, Tom came in at the very end to be like the video on Remember LA Night is trash. But yeah, what's our next most immediate commentary?
Well, we do have a Money Gold show that's going to be happening on Tuesday. So I don't know if we're actually going to be able to watch that on Tuesday.
Is that the midnight one that we've been talking about?
No, unfortunately, that's happening. It's a Corkin show. It's happening at 5:30 in the morning for us, so we're not going to be able to watch that live as it happens.
Okay.
But if it's live, we should be able to still watch it day of. We should still be able to go live at like 5 or 6, probably 5 if it's a Corkin show on Tuesday, and still just react to it day of. So
When is that
that's
midnight show that you were wondering if we were gonna
there
do?
aren't any midnight shows, but there are. Oh no, wait, yeah, there are several midnight shows actually. There's one on the 15th, one on the 16th, and then much later one on the 29th.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because I do need to update you because I do have something that I think is happening. Conversations have kind of lulled like this month, and we're just gonna need to coordinate. Shouldn't affect TWitWoW too much. But yeah,
Okay,
I'll be talking to you about that in a
all right.
second here. But yeah, no, I guess what we'll do then is we'll just keep everybody posted. See, this is why you need to be a part of the Discord, $3 a month. Because yeah, especially with Mario Gold stuff, all updates are gonna happen in both wrestling discussion and the Mario Gold channel.
And you did make it clear that we are not going to be live reacting to Battleground tomorrow at all.
Oh yeah, no, I'm taking that time off. I've already like I've already told Javaris like I'm going to be busy tomorrow because I know he's want to be talking about that Sparking Zero trailer because he is so hyped for that game. As am I. I haven't even watched the trailer yet though,
Oh
so I
my
can't talk about something
goodness.
I haven't seen. And then other friends were like, "Oh hey, can we talk tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, I got plans tomorrow. I got something I need to do." And honestly, like NXT, power to the women. I may try and come in for the show, but I mean, for one thing, my sleep schedule's been fucked, so I don't even know when I'm going to wake up to start the day. And then there's just I'm very goal oriented. I have things on my mind I want to get done. So yeah, we won't be doing battleground reactions tomorrow. Would like to, if I poke my head in for any matches though, it would be Roxanne's match and the ladder match because I really do not give a fuck about Ethan Page, and honestly, everything else just feels skippable to me.
Do
But
you
those two
want me
matches,
to message you on Facebook when those matches start? Because I fully intend to watch the show beginning to end.
I will be the first one to admit that usually even when you give me a heads up, I don't really act on them, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate them. So I would appreciate it because even if I don't
Sure.
act on it, at least I can say, well, Ashton let me know. So I know that I'm actively choosing to miss it then if something's come up.
Sure.
So yeah, yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, all right.
I will
Well,
be in the Discord audio wrestling audio channel for that show because you know wrestling shows can be a lot of fun to watch just kind of in general, but big hype shows like that I always like to watch with friends.
yeah, I agree. Like if I am able to pop my head in based on how everything goes, I think I would even join on call for that. And I've really kind of cooled down on calls just because of everything. But I know Javaris has even said like, oh, I've missed you in calls. Well, I may be able to join tomorrow. I want to really emphasize May though. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up unnecessarily. We'll have to see how things go. But yeah, those two matches really feel like can't miss to me. So I would like to be there for them. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I guess that's it, and we'll keep everybody posted. I think that's kind of where we've gotten with TWitWoW. I mean, I don't want to like overspeak for the team here, but it does feel like just content's become a bit more fluid. So it's harder to make like schedules or commit to certain days, especially because we've primarily become a Josie channel. Like, we do
Yeah,
Stardom and Marigold, and
we don't
like,
have a TJPW show this month. That's I think it's like July 19th or something like that, and that should be a really easy show because I think that goes live for us at like 10 p.m.
yeah, oh, that's gonna be yeah, just knock that out.
Yeah.
Um, I gotta be honest though, I do follow like one Utami fan page on Twitter, and they even tweeted like that they've had friends telling them, "Oh, now they have a Wrestle Universe subscription because of Marigold." Honestly, or obviously, I meant to say, you should check out TJPW, and they were like, "Nah, hard pass." And I'm like, low key, it's gotten better, but that's still a mood if I'm being honest, because I'm still like no, TJPW's definitely gotten better, and I'm happy that Miyu Watanabe is world champion, but I'd be disingenuous if I said I didn't understand that sentiment because I 100% do.
Right.
But yeah, we try and be good about TJPW when it's a big show and like things are cooking. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like because we're doing more Joshi content than we've ever done, Stardom is always going to vary week to week because we don't know like if we're enthused about cards or not. I mean, you guys know for a fact,
Yeah.
Discord members especially, that there have been just weeks where we skip it. And
Yeah.
then Money Gold, it's not even a
It's
matter of like skipping anything, it's just timing. It's just,
yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, like
So
with Stardom, it's always our intention to do a show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But even like this month, we've got a big Stardom show that we're going to be doing on the 27th. It's going to be covering both New Blood 13 and the big pay per view that's happening the day after that. But then like that happens that show would happen the exact same day that we've got a Q&A. So we're going to have to figure some kind of workaround to that as well. So,
yeah.
we're going to have to figure that out. But yeah, the intention is always to go live Thursday at 7 with a Stardom show. But like, if we go over that week's slate and there's just one or two or even three matches that we want to watch, we're just like, fine, we'll just do it next week. We're not trying to stress out over it because it's like we're supposed to be doing this for fun anyway. So why would we stress out over fun?
Yeah, that's really where I'm just at it. We've been doing this for so many years that I'm like, if I don't want to do something or you don't want to do something, even if just one of us and we're like really adamant about it, it's
Yeah,
just not happening. And then especially if we're both unified, like fuck that, that's definitely not happening. And
exactly.
then yeah, like it's just a fun time.
And
And like
Marigold
yeah,
has gotten really fun because they actually have like a solid schedule that they lay out, and like we can see when their shows are happening. And we might have to kind of figure out how things are working as far as like VOD versus live. But once we get that figured out, like that's super easy because it's like
oh dude,
I think the
yeah.
VODs take exactly 4 days to go up, and the live shows go up day of. It's like super easy.
Bro, like, yeah, and Marigold, man, just it's really I've really hated the phrase like, "Oh, restoring the feeling and stuff," but for me, like, that's what Marigold's doing because 'cause I'm already
Yeah,
thinking about matchups that I wanna see,
yeah.
and I'm like, damn, this promotion's about to cook, y'all. It really is.
Hmm.
Um, I logged into the Discord. And I saw Kirby sharing the video of Ricochet getting offended that he got called bald.
Oh, why you ugly?
Kirby, never change, please, for the love of God, unless it's for your own personal betterment, obviously. But like, just the core of you in this humor, Big Papa Pop forever, baby. Like fucking hell. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we can go. But yeah, I just wanted to explain to everybody, like, if it just seems a bit weirder, it really is because I think more than ever the TWitWoW schedules just become fluid. We just kind of react to the content as well as just the content, I guess, reacting to us, being like, oh, we're available. So yeah, we'll let you guys know anything that's
Yeah.
happening. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy Battleground tomorrow. Again, hope to be there, but not making any strict commitments just because I have to be honest about where I am right now. A lot up in the air for me. But yeah, hopefully it's good. Hopefully you enjoy our champions. Fuck Ethan Page. And be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in. Peace out.